Hello, welcome to the A Pinch of Whimsy channel yet again. Today I'm going to be talking about cleaning a gently used cast iron skillet that has already been seasoned. Now let's get started. So here I'm going to show you our Lodge cast iron skillet. It comes pre-seasoned, so you don't actually have to season it yourself. Here it is. It's a little dirty from some Impossible burgers that I cooked for lunch today and tomorrow. It's got a little silicone handle on the bottom that further prevents you from burning yourself when you handle the pan. I'm going to take the silicone sleeve off of the handle because it is a pain in the butt to clean. Particularly, I don't like it when it gets wet on the inside of the sleeve because it's basically impossible for it to dry properly, and that can cause the handle to rust. So I'm going to take it off. It's a really nice sleeve. I highly recommend you get one if you can, but I'm going to take it off because it makes it annoying to clean and dry the cast iron pan. And then I'm going to take my sponge, which already has a little soap on it from the last time I washed dishes. I'm not going to add any soap here. And I'm just going to gently scrub the pan to get any food or debris that's sticking on it. I'm not necessarily trying to make it spick and span because I don't care if there's oil on there. Oil is a good thing, but food is not a good thing. So I'm scrubbing that off. So here I am just gently scrubbing this pan with the sponge. As you can see, there's a little bit of bubbles here, a tiny bit of suds from the soap that's already in the sponge. If you needed to do a deeper cleaning, you could add dish soap if necessary. So here I'm done scrubbing. I'm just going to dump out that water and then scrub a little more, and then I'm going to make sure the pan is fully rinsed to make sure there's no food and no soap. It's actually a misconception that you cannot use soap on a cast iron skillet. On cast iron, as long as it's properly seasoned, it's okay. And I will link to the video of a professional chef talking about how to clean cast iron that I used to inform how I clean our pan in this video. I believe it's an Epicurious video, and I found it very useful. So just checking to see if there's any soap on the back. There's a tiny bit, so I rinse that off. Now this pan is fully rinsed, and we're going to switch over to drying it so that we can prepare for storage. So again, it doesn't matter if there's oil still in the pan. Oil's a good thing, food's a bad thing. So food's been scrubbed off, soap's been rinsed off, some oil's still there, not a big deal. It's a good thing for us. Moving on to the next step of the process. So here we are, the pan's on the stove, and what we want to do is we want to fully dry the pan. We want to make sure there's no water on it because water causes cast iron to rust. So I'm going to put the skillet on about medium here, medium heat, and I'm simply going to wait until it is very close to bone dry. If the handle got a little wet, it's okay to speed up the drying process by wiping it off directly. The handle is designed such that it sticks out so you won't get burned when you have it on the stove, which means it's going to take forever to dry this way if you try to use heat. So go ahead and wipe it off if desired. Now we're just going to wait until the pan's warm enough to evaporate the water. Here we are. Almost all of the water is evaporated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spatula and gently wipe this water towards the center of the pan, which is hot. And that will help the water to evaporate faster so that we can move on to the next step of the process of preparing the now clean cast iron pan for storage. All right, so the water on the inside has evaporated. The handle's not hot. It is dry. I'm just lifting the pan to see where there's water. So there's a little bit of water on the very bottom of the pan. I'm not too worried about that because that'll dry off pretty fast because of the heat. But I do see water on the outside of the pan itself, so I'm just taking a paper towel and gently wiping, making sure I stay well away from the hot burner so I don't burn myself. and also so the paper towel doesn't catch on fire. With an electric stove, that doesn't matter, but with a gas stove, it does, which is why I'm mentioning it in case you have a gas stove. So here I am, just still dabbing with the paper towel to get water off of the outside of the pan. And once we're satisfied that this pan is bone dry and there's no water, because if you put oil on the pan and there's still water, you're basically sealing the water in, which can cause rust. So do not do that. Make sure the pan is fully dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some oil in the pan, and we're going to use that to just reinforce the seasoning on the pan. So this is canola oil I'm using. So with the canola oil, I'm going to take a paper towel and just wipe it around the inside of the pan and the top of the pan. And the idea here is to just try to get a nice even coating, make sure there are no dry spots in the pan. Everything should be coated in oil on the inside. You can also coat the outside of the pan if you want, but that's just a hassle. And you mostly need to do that for seasoning, not necessarily for regular use. So I mainly just do the inside and maybe a little bit of the top. I didn't quite have enough oil to get the inner rim, so I'm pouring a bit more canola oil into the pan. And I'm going to use that oil just to wipe the inner rim here to make sure it has a good coating of oil. So here I am, just wiping around the outside. The flat side of the pan, the cooking surface is already well coated, so we don't really need to put more oil there. And here I'm getting the top rim as well, because if you're like me, you're not perfectly clean when you cook, and sometimes you'll get a little food on there, so this will help protect it. And this is just to reinforce the seasoning, and the oil will be useful for storage. So what we're going to do is, once this has fully been wiped with oil, we're going to turn the burner onto high and just wait for the oil to smoke a bit in the pan. Oh, here I am just kind of finishing things off. But we're going to turn the burner onto high. We're going to wait for the pan to smoke a bit. And then once that's done, we'll wait for the pan to cool and then put it away. Alright, so the pan has smoked a bit, so I turn the burner off. I put the sleeve back on to the handle so I don't forget that we have it. Now we just wait for it to cool, then we put it away. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.